Imagine for a moment that you have taken your entire life's work, 40 years of labor, 40 years of sacrifice, 40 years of saving, and you have converted it into a block of solid ice. You take this block of ice, and you walk into the most secure bank in the world. You place it inside a heavy steel safety deposit box. The walls are 3 feet thick. There are lasers, guards, and cameras. You lock the door with a heavy click. You put the key in your pocket. You walk away, feeling safe. You feel responsible. You have protected your future. 10 years pass. You return to the bank. You walk past the guards. You unlock the steel door. You open the box. The water is there. The puddle is there. But the ice is gone. You look at the bank manager and scream, "I've been robbed." But the manager calmly shakes his head. He points to the puddle and says, "No, sir. Nothing was stolen. The quantity is exactly the same. You put in 1 block of ice, you have 1 block of water. It's all there." This is the nightmare that millions of retirees are living through right now, at this very second. You look at your bank account. The numbers are there. The $100,000, or pounds, or euros you saved, the number hasn't changed. But what that number can buy, that has melted away. You haven't been robbed by a criminal in a mask. You haven't been hacked by a teenager in a hoodie. You are the victim of a much more sophisticated crime. A crime that is perfectly legal. A crime that is written into the very design of our financial system. They call it inflation. We call it the silent thief. And the terrifying part isn't that it's happening. The terrifying part is that most people think it's an accident. It is not an accident. It is a feature. Welcome to the Wealth Fortress. Today, we are going to expose the illusion. We are going to look at why the money in your pocket is dying, who is killing it, and most importantly, how you can turn that melting ice into solid, unbreakable stone. To understand why your money is melting, we have to travel back in time. We need to go back to a time when money was not just a piece of paper, and certainly not just a pixel on a screen. For 5,000 years, if you worked hard and earned a coin, that coin was made of something real. Gold. Silver. It had weight. If you buried a gold coin in a jar in your garden and dug it up 100 years later, it would still buy you roughly the same amount of bread, the same amount of clothes, the same amount of land. Money was an anchor. It held your energy in place. It stopped your hard work from drifting away. But then, something changed. And it didn't happen thousands of years ago. It happened in the lifetime of many people watching this video. The year was 1971. The President of the United States, Richard Nixon, stood in front of a television camera and made an announcement that sounded boring, but it changed the history of the world. He announced that the US dollar would no longer be convertible into gold. In that split second, the anchor was cut. Before 1971, the government could only print new paper money if they had the gold to back it up. The gold was a leash. It kept the politicians honest. It kept the system tight. But when the link was severed, money changed. It stopped being a store of value. It stopped being a way to save your energy. It became a currency. Look at the word closely. Currency. Like an electrical current. Like a river current. It is designed to move. It is designed to flow. It is not designed to stay still. If you try to hold on to a current, you get shocked. If you try to hold on to water, it slips through your fingers. This was the beginning of the great illusion. The money in your bank account looks the same as the money your grandfather saved. It has the same portraits of presidents. It has the same name. But the soul of the money is gone. Grandfather saved gold. You are saving paper. And there is an infinite amount of paper. Let me explain this simply. I want you to imagine your grandmother is making her famous soup. She makes a big, rich pot of soup for 4 people. It is thick, nutritious, and delicious. Each bowl is a full meal. But suddenly, 4 more guests knock on the door. Grandma doesn't have any more vegetables. She doesn't have any more meat. So, what does she do? She goes to the tap, fills a jug with water, and pours it into the pot. Now she has enough soup to feed 8 people. Everyone gets a bowl. But when they taste it, they realize something. It's watery. It's weak. It doesn't fill them up. Then, 8 more guests arrive. Grandma pours another jug of water in. Now the soup is just slightly flavored hot water. This is exactly what central banks and governments do to your savings. The soup is the economy. It's the goods and services, the houses, the cars, the food. The soup takes hard work to create. You can't just snap your fingers and make more houses or more food. But the money? The money is the water. When the government wants to spend money it doesn't have, on wars, on welfare, on bailouts, on bureaucracy, it doesn't ask you for more taxes. That would make you angry. That would make you vote them out. Instead, they quietly pour more water into the soup. They print more money. They call it quantitative easing. They call it stimulus. They use big, fancy words to confuse you. But it is just watering down the soup. Every time they print a new $1 trillion, the dollars in your savings account lose a little bit of their flavor. They lose a little bit of their power. You have the same number of dollars, just like the guests have the same size bowl of soup. But the nutrition is gone. This is why you feel tired. This is why you feel like you are running on a treadmill just to stay in the same place. Because you are working for a currency that is being diluted while you sleep. Let's prove it. Let's take a trip in a time machine. Let's go back to 1970. You walk into a supermarket with a crisp, green $100 bill. You grab a shopping cart. You put in bread, milk, eggs, steak, vegetables, coffee, sugar. You fill the cart to the top. Then you fill a second cart. Maybe even a third. In 1970, $100 was a fortune. It was a month's rent for a nice apartment. Now, come back to 2025. You walk into the same supermarket with a $100 bill. What happens? You buy the laundry detergent. You buy the coffee. Maybe a few steaks. And that's it. The money is gone. Your cart is barely the bottom layer. Now, I want you to ask yourself a very important question. Did the steak change? No. A cow is still a cow. Did the eggs change? No. A chicken is still a chicken. If the goods didn't change, then the money must have changed. The price of steak didn't go up. The value of your money went down. We have been trained to look at price tags and get angry at the butcher, or the baker, or the gas station owner. We say, "Why are you raising your prices?" But they are victims too. They are trying to catch the falling knife. The truth is, things aren't getting more expensive. Your money is just becoming worthless. This is the silent thief. It steals from you slowly, day by day, year by year. 2% here, 5% there. It's slow enough that you don't panic, but fast enough that over a lifetime, it wipes out your legacy. Think about the house you grew up in. Your parents might have bought it for $10,000 or $20,000. Today, that same pile of bricks is worth $500,000. Is the house 50 times better? Does it have gold toilets? No. It's an old house. It's likely worse than it was. The house didn't gain value. The dollar lost 98% of its value. Now, you might be wondering, why? Why would the government destroy its own money? Are they evil? Are they stupid? The answer is actually much scarier. They are trapped. Remember the soup? The government is addicted to the water. Every government in the world operates on debt. They borrow money to pay for today's promises, hoping to pay it back with tomorrow's taxes. But the debt has grown too big. It is a mountain so high that it blocks out the sun. The United States government owes $34 trillion. Europe is drowning in debt. If they had to pay this debt back with honest, hard money, they couldn't do it. It would be impossible. So, they have only one option. They must destroy the value of the debt. If I owe you $100, and that $100 takes me a week of work to earn, it's a heavy debt. But if I print money until $100 is just the price of a cup of coffee, then I can pay you back easily. The government needs inflation. They need the money to melt. It is the only way they can keep the game going. They are wiping out their own debt by wiping out your savings. You are the collateral damage in their survival strategy. And they rely on one thing, they rely on you not understanding this. They rely on you thinking that cash is safe. They want you to keep your money in the bank, earning 0.1% interest, while the real inflation eats 10% of your wealth every year. They want you to be the liquidity that keeps their system afloat. I know this sounds heavy. I know it can feel hopeless. You might be sitting there thinking, I'm 65, I'm 70 years old. Is it too late for me? Am I just going to watch my life's work evaporate? The answer is a loud, resounding no. It is not too late. In fact, understanding this is the first step to true freedom. Once you realize that the river is rising, you stop trying to hold back the water with your hands. Instead, you build a boat. You build an ark. The wealthy families of the world, the ones who keep their fortune for generations, they don't keep their money in the bank. They know the bank is for paying bills, not for storing wealth. They move their energy out of the melting ice and into solid stone. They buy assets. They buy things that the government cannot print. You can print $1 trillion in a second. You cannot print an acre of land. You cannot print an ounce of gold. You cannot print a barrel of oil. And you cannot print the new, digital concrete that has emerged in the 21st century. We are living in a unique time in history. For the first time, we have tools that allow ordinary people, people like you and me, to exit the system of melting money. We have a way to lock our hard work into a digital vault that no bank can touch, no government can dilute, and no thief can steal, if you know how to hold the key. This channel, The Wealth Fortress, is not just about complaining about the problem. It is about building the solution. We are going to teach you how to construct your own personal fortress. We are going to show you the bricks you need. We are going to show you how to mix the mortar. We are going to talk about the ancient protection of gold. We are going to talk about the modern protection of digital assets. We are going to talk about how to spot the scammers who are trying to trick you while you are trying to escape. The era of the blind saver is over. You cannot just put your money under the mattress and hope for the best. The mattress is burning. But the era of the wise builder has just begun. You have spent your entire life working for your money. Now, it is time to make your money work for you. Or at least, make it stop dying for you. You do not need to be an economist or a computer expert to protect your legacy. You just need to be willing to see the truth. This channel is your blueprint. We are here to replace fear with knowledge and uncertainty with strategy. My name is your guide. This is the Wealth Fortress. Subscribe and let's start building.